Hi, I'm Steve. Welcome to my scroll saw workshop. Out in the shop tonight to do a video where I'm going to show you how to install a third-party accessory onto the DeWalt scroll saw called the Easy Lift system. When I make my videos, a lot of people email me and ask me about this system because one of the drawbacks of the DW788 DeWalt scroll saw is that when you get ready to lift the arm to change the blade, you'll notice that it won't stay in the upright position. It's designed to come back down. And that's really kind of a pain when you want to do a lot of interior cuts. So a company by the name of Jim Dandy Products came out with the Easy Lift system, which is an attachment we can put onto this upper arm to keep it in the upright position while you're inserting your blade. So with that, I'm going to get a little closer here and we'll actually install this system so you can see how it works. When you purchase your Jim Dandy Easy Lift system, what you're going to get is you're going to get a bar and a package of hardware and one sheet of instructions. And it's a pretty simple install process. You're going to remove 3 different screws. You're going to install the Easy Lift on this side of the machine, and there's going to be a spring that actually provides tension to hold the arm up. The instructions tell you that you'll need a T25 and a T27 star bit to get these screws out. They also mention that if you don't have one of those, you can use a flat tip screwdriver blade. But take my word, get the right tool. The star bits aren't that expensive, and you'll get the screws out a lot easier with them. So get yourself a T27 Torex bit or star bit, and that's what we need to get started. This is the first screw they want removed, and this one happens to be the T25 star bit. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that one. The other 2 screws that you need to remove are actually T27. So I'm going to switch over to that, and these screws are accessed from the other side of the saw. So they want this one and this one removed. So I'll go ahead and get those out. On these screws there's a locking nut on this side, so be careful you don't lose that. I'm going to remove that one. And we're going to remove this one. And again, this one has a locking nut on it, so don't lose it. And they also recommend that you save all this hardware in case you ever decide to remove the Easy Lift for any reason. So go ahead and put your locking nuts back on these screws and put them in a drawer and save them, because we're going to use the hardware that came in the kit. The next step is to install the 3-inch long screw into what they call Station B. So they supply the screw and the locking nut. So go ahead and put your locking nut in place, and then using a Phillips screwdriver, drive that screw all the way through the locking nut and out the other side. We're again going to use the other 3-inch screw and do the same thing down here in what they call position C. Here's what it will look like with the 2 screws installed, the 3-inch screws. You can see they're protruding out this side about 1 inch. The next step is to take one of the washers and put it over screw in position B, and it comes with a little brass sleeve. And that's what will go next up here, is we'll install that little brass sleeve. Then we'll take the Easy Lift lever, and with this long slot and the label facing out away from the machine, you'll place that long slot over that brass sleeve, just like that. At position B, where we just installed the lever, we're going to go ahead and take another washer, push it up to the brass sleeve, and another locking nut. And we're going to tighten that down just until the washer contacts the brass sleeve. And you don't want to over tighten that and crush that sleeve, so be careful with that. So let's go ahead and tighten that locking nut down. We're back up at the front of the scroll saw now, and we're going to attach the lever to the hole where we removed the screw up front. The way we're going to do this, we're going to take the 1-inch screw that's provided. We're going to install a washer on the screw. Then we're going to install the screw through the lever. We're going to install another washer. We're going to install the included hex head nut. And then we're going to screw that into position A. And we're going to use that to tighten it down into the hex head nut so we get a nice good snug fit up there. So I'll go ahead and tighten that down. Here's a good tight shot of the screw we just inserted up front. You can see I've got the hex head nut up against the saw housing. There's a washer. Here's the lever, another washer, and then the hex head for the screw we just installed. So that's how that goes, and that's very important. That gives you the offset from the lever into the body of the saw. The last step of the assembly is to, with the blade of course removed, lift the arm to its fullest upright position and put a piece of wood underneath the arm to hold it in place, and we're doing this so we can install the spring. Then you want to take the spring that came with the hardware kit, and they recommend starting out with the middle hole of the 5 position holes we have here. So go ahead and install the spring through that hole, and then bring it down to this position B screw that we installed earlier. Then the last 2 steps are to put a washer on and another locking nut. And that completes the assembly part of the install. And the next thing we're going to do is to test it to make sure everything moves freely and that the arm remains in the upright position. So to do that, we want to carefully remove the block of wood, let go, and it should stay in the upright position just like that. If it doesn't, you can remove this spring, move it forward to decrease the pressure, or move it backwards to increase the, I guess it's not pressure, the actual pull of the spring against this arm. So you have these 5 position holes to adjust your tension. Now at this point, when you get ready to change the blade, you can loosen your blade holder, push the arm to the upright position, and it'll stay there. So that's the Easy Lift system. It's one of those mandatory upgrades for me. Like I said earlier, I just purchased the second scroll saw to help. I'm going to probably do a little teaching here eventually, and so I wanted to have another saw in the shop for that. So of the accessories I always install, of course, a light is mandatory for me. I almost always install, or do always install, a foot switch. On the DeWalt, I usually add a little bit of a handle lever. There's some controversy on that, but the #1 accessory I always add is this Easy Lift system. And again, you can buy this from Jim Dandy Products. They also sell it through Wildwood Designs, which is where I ordered mine from. And very nice feature to add to this saw. It's a feature it should have had from the beginning. So if you have a DeWalt, or you're thinking about getting a DeWalt, add the cost of this Easy Lift system into your purchase decision, because you're definitely going to want one. I'm Steve Good. Thanks for being here with me at the Scroll Saw Workshop, and we'll see you next time.